The large transport ship floated slowly into the orbit of Zelya 9, a small moon between the planets of the Human Alliance and the Zyrelli Empire. Inside the ship, Commander Jace Thorne stood tall in his black combat armor, his brown eyes scanning the moon's glowing surface through the window. He wasn't just a soldier. He was a hero from the war with the Zarn beasts. But this time he wasn't going to fight. He was sent as a peacekeeper. ZELI on -9 was chosen for the first official meeting between the two great powers Earth's Human Council and the Zyrelli Empire. After years of cold silence, the time had come to talk about peace. Jace sighed. "Let's hope they don't try to mind-read us again." His partner, Captain Lyra, chuckled. "You really don't trust aliens, huh? Trust is earned?" Jace replied, "Mind control doesn't help." In the Royal Zyrelli ship, far above, in a shining white ship shaped like a silver wing, Princess Valerie Zyrelli was looking at a glowing screen. Her silver eyes were calm, but inside she felt restless. Her psychic advisor, Saren, stood beside her. "You seem disturbed, my princess." "I felt something strange just now," she whispered. "A pulse in the stars. A connection. Alive." Saren frowned. "Could it be the old prophecy?" Valerie nodded slowly. She had heard the story many times. A warrior from the stars, not of Zyrelli blood, would come. He would carry a hidden mark. He would be her destined bondmate, her true husband, chosen by fate, not law. But the prophecy was thousands of years old, and no one believed it anymore. Still, her heart beat faster as her ship landed on Selly on -9, the first meeting in the Crystal Hall built on the moon's surface. Human leaders and Zyrelli nobles stood on opposite sides. The hall had a glass dome. Above it, showing the stars clearly, Jace walked in beside his general. Across the room, Princess Valerie entered, her silver dress flowing like water, her silver blue hair tied high in a royal braid. Their eyes met. Something happened. A pull. A strange warmth. Jace blinked, confused. Why did she feel ... familiar? Valera's heart skipped. She could sense his aura. Strong, brave, but something more, something ancient. Before anything more could happen, a loud blast shook the hall. Boom, a hidden bomb exploded at the far end. Screams filled the room. The glass dome above cracked. Jace acted fast. He ran forward, grabbed Valerie by the waist, and pulled her behind a stone pillar as another blast came. His armor protected her from flying glass. Guards rushed in. Medical bots arrived. The attackers vanished into shadows. After the chaos an hour later, Jace sat in the medical bay, getting his arm stitched. Valerie entered quietly. "You saved me, Jace." Stood and saluted. "Ma'am, just doing my job. Could have run. But you didn't." He shrugged. "Didn't feel right to let you get blown up." Valerie smiled softly. "You single quotes. Read. Different." She looked at his face, then at his hand. Her eyes widened. There, just below his wrist, was a small mark faint, glowing under the skin. A spiral with 3 stars, the bond mark. Her breath caught in her throat. It was real. The prophecy. Later. That night Valerie sat in her private chamber. The lights were dim. In front of her, a floating orb glowed with Jace's DNA scan. She had secretly taken it when she touched his arm. The scan confirmed it. His genes had a Zyrelli signature, tied to her family's bloodline. It matched the ancient bond record from the royal archives. It was impossible. No human should have it unless ... he had been bonded to her when they were children. She ran to the old library ship and searched through records, and there it was, a secret. Royal deal, made 25 years ago. Her mother, the Empress, had secretly bonded her to a child from Earth, a powerful, war-torn planet. The bond was hidden. The human boy was taken back to Earth, his memory wiped. That boy was Jace Thorne. Memories in the dark that night. Jace couldn't sleep. He kept seeing flashes in his dreams. A garden with blue trees. A little girl with silver eyes, crying, his small hand reaching out to hers. Then darkness. He woke up sweating. What is happening to me? He whispered. The next morning Valari met her mother, the Empress, through a hologram. You lied to me, Valari said. You bonded me to a human boy. Why? The Empress looked tired. It was to save the Empire. The bloodline was dying. We needed to link with strong warrior genes, but why hide it? Because if the Xyreli High Council found out, they would never accept a human consort. Valeri's voice shook. He doesn't even know. The Empress looked away. He must never know. Not yet. An unspoken bond later that day, Jace stood on a balcony, looking out at the stars. Valeri walked up beside him. Strange sky, isn't it? He smiled. Not the worst view I've seen. They stood in silence for a moment. Then she asked, Do you believe in fate, Commander Thorn? Jace laughed. I believe in hard work and good armor. Valeri smiled, but her eyes were sad. What if? Some things are written in the stars. He looked at her. Are you trying to tell me something? She looked away. Not yet. The sun of Zelianine rose slowly, casting a soft orange glow over the peace station. Soldiers, diplomats, and royal guards moved quietly through the halls, but two people were already awake, Jace Thorn and Princess Valeri. Both of them had heavy thoughts in their minds. Valeri sat near a glowing pond in the royal quarters, her long silver robe hanging over the water. She stared at her reflection, lost in thought. He is the one, she whispered. The mark, the blood scan, ... the dreams. But she couldn't tell him yet. If the Xyreli High Council found out she was bonded to a human without their approval, it would cause political chaos. Worse, if Jace found out and rejected the bond, it could break her soul completely. Jace's restlessness, meanwhile. Jace was in the training chamber, punching a holographic enemy with heavy strikes. His knuckles were red, but he didn't stop. Couldn't shake the dreams. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her Valari but younger, and himself as a small boy, holding her hand under a glowing sky. These dreams aren't just dreams, he told himself. What did they do to me back then? Captain Lyra entered the room. You all right, Commander? Jace stopped. Ever. Feel like your memories are ... missing pieces? Lyra raised an eyebrow. You think someone wiped your memory? Jace didn't answer. He just stared at his arm, the place where the spiral mark glowed faintly. Back in the past, Princess Valeri went to the ancient Xyreli archive vault, a secure chamber deep beneath the surface of the moonbase. With her royal code, she entered, a hidden chamber where few had ever been. A large glowing crystal floated in the center. It was the bond archive, recording every soul bond made by the royal family over thousands of years. She placed her hand on it. It showed her an image to infants, lying side by side in a sacred pool of starlight. One was her, the other a human. Child, baby Jace. The voices of the past whispered, the bond is sealed. The warrior of flame and the daughter of stars shall unite when war returns to the gates of peace. Valera's eyes filled with tears. You were mine from the beginning. And yet you don't know me? The Empress confesses later, Valeri opened a secret channel to her mother, the Empress of Xyreli. He's remembering, Valeri said. He dreams of me. And he saw the mark. The Empress looked tired. The time is coming sooner than we expected. Why? Did you hide it from him? Valeri asked. He deserves to know the truth. We couldn't risk the bond failing, the Empress replied. If he rejected you before the bond awakened fully, your powers could collapse. Your life could be at risk. Valeri's voice shook. But it's a lie, and lies destroy trust. Sudden attack that evening while the peace talks were restarting in the main hall. Alarms blared across the base. Intruders detected. Unknown ships entering Zelianine airspace. Valera's heart dropped. The Krellin Syndicate, she said. The Krellins were enemies of both humans and Xyreli. Pirates, slavers, and warlords, they hated the idea of peace between the two powers. Explosions rocked the base. Fighters screamed across the sky. Defense cannons lit up. Jay sprinted down the hallway with his rifle. Lyra, where's the princess? She's in the West Tower, Lyra replied. Lone, Jace. Didn't wait the rescue in. The West Tower, Valeri fought off a Krellin warrior with her psychic energy, but she was growing weak. They had used dampening tech. Her powers were fading. Just as the Krellin aimed a blade at her throat, just crashed through the window, tackled the attacker, and shot him with 3 clean blasts. You okay? He asked, breathing hard. Valeri nodded, eyes wide. You came for me again. Like I'd leave you, Jace replied. Now move. They ran through smoke-filled halls, dodging more attackers. Together, they fought back Jace with his weapon, Valeri with her mind. They reached the underground escape hangar. Valeri turned to him. There's a ship. Fast, small, unregistered. You planning to run? You planning to run? No, she said. I'm planning to survive. I'm fine answers. Escape to Zareth Prime, the small starship blasted out of the moon's orbit and jumped into hyperspace. The stars became long lines. Then silence. Jace sat in the co-pilot seat, his chest rising and falling. Valeri checked the navigation. Heading to Zareth Prime. Never heard of it, Jace muttered. It's a lost world, Valeri said. Home of the old temples, places where bonds were made, and where they can be awakened. Jace turned to her. No more lies, princess. I want the truth. What's going on between us? She looked at him, her voice quiet. We were bonded, ... When we were children, Jace blinked. Bonded. You. Mean like marriage? Valeri nodded. A soul bond. Sacred. Eternal. Your blood, your memories, your spirit tied to mine. Jace sat back, stunned. This is insane, he said. I never agreed to that. You're a baby, Valeri said softly. And so was I. He stared at the stars. Why didn't anyone tell me? 'Cause they were afraid. Afraid of what we could become, ... together. Old memories returned as the ship approached Zareth Prime. Strange visions returned to Jace's mind. He saw a golden temple. He saw a royal garden. He saw himself laughing with a silver-haired girl. He saw her crying as he was taken away. He woke with a shout. Valeri stood over him. You saw it too. He nodded slowly. You ... You held my hand. You promised we'd see the stars together. Tears filled Valera's eyes, and we are. The temple awaits. The ship landed on a lush green world filled with ancient ruins and glowing trees. At the heart of the valley stood the Temple of Unity, its entrance glowing with soft blue light. As Jace stepped forward, the mark on his wrist pulsed brightly. The temple responded. The doors opened. Valeri gasped. Only those with the bond can open the gate. Jace looked at her, and I guess we're really connected. Together they stepped inside. The temple was filled with floating lights and murals of past soul bonds. A large crystal stood in the center. Valeri turned to Jace. This is the heart of the bond. If you touch it with me, ... we'll see the truth. All of it. Jace hesitated. I don't know if I'm ready. She held out her hand. But I know. We were meant to do this. He took her hand, and they touched the crystal together. The Temple of Unity glowed with soft blue light as Jace Thorn and Princess Valeri stepped inside. The air was warm, filled with the smell of ancient energy and stardust. The ground shimmered beneath their boots, and the walls were covered in glowing symbols of past soul bonds. The crystal in the center pulsed with power. Jace looked at Valeri. Are you sure this will work? Valeri nodded. If we touch it together, it will show us everything our past, the bond, even the truth hidden in our minds. Jace hesitated. And if I don't like what I see, then we walk away, Valeri whispered. But I think, deep inside, you already know. Jace took a deep breath. He reached out. So did she. Their hands touched the crystal at the same time. Visions from the pasta flash of light filled the temple. Their bodies froze, but their minds fell into a storm of memories. Jace found himself standing in a garden under a glowing sky, blue trees, silver rivers, and stars floating in the air. He was a child, maybe 4 years old. He looked down and saw his small hands. Across from him, a little girl with silver blue hair and glowing eyes held his hand. Valeri. The child version of her smiled. We will be together always. Then he saw royal Zarelli priests, dressed in robes. He was placed in a glowing pool with the girl. The water shimmered with starlight. A deep voice spoke. The bond is made. The warrior of earth and the daughter of stars are joined. The memory faded. Jace saw another vision, him being carried away. Soldiers took him into a ship. His memory was wiped. He forgot her, forgot everything, but not completely. Back in the temple, the light faded. Jace stumbled back, breathing heavily. His hand trembled. It's true, he whispered. All of it. Yeah, the dreams, the visions. They were real. Valeri touched her chest, eyes wet. I never forgot your face. Not for a single day. Jace looked at her. Why would your people do this? Why bind me to you as a child? Valeri stepped forward. Because they were afraid. Our empire was breaking. Our bloodline was weak. The Empress made a secret pact. With Earth's council, one child of Earth, one child of stars, united by an ancient bond. Jace shook his head. They used us. No, Valeri said. They saved us. But they also hid the truth. That was their mistake. Jace looked into her eyes. What happens now? Before she could answer, the ground shook. The Krellins returned outside the temple. Fire rained from. The Sky Krellin dropships landed in the valley. Dozens of warriors in black armor charged toward the temple with weapons drawn. Jace and Valeri rushed to the temple doors. They found us, Jace said. We need to fight. Valeri nodded, activating her psychic shield. Let's defend our bond. Jace's rifle powered up with a hum. He looked at her. Together? She smiled. Together. The battle at the temple, the Krellins broke through the outer wall. Jace fired first, blasting one with clean shots. Valeri raised her hands and sent a shockwave through the air, throwing enemies back. With invisible force, Jace used rocks and pillars for cover, firing with deadly skill. Valeri danced between enemies, her psychic blade glowing in her hand. But there were too many. A Krellin warrior threw an energy bomb toward them. Jace saw it too late. Boom. He was thrown back. His armor cracked. Blood ran down his forehead. Valeri screamed. She rushed to his side and raised a shield over him as more shots rained down. You're hurt, she cried. Jace coughed. I've had worse. He stood slowly. We're not losing this temple. The bond awakened suddenly. The temple began to glow. The crystal in the center floated into the air. It responded to their unity, to their shared blood and purpose. Valeri's eyes widened. Agata, the bond is waking. Jace felt it, too, energy rushing. Through his body, the spiral mark on his wrist glowed bright gold. Valeri's forehead shined with a matching symbol. They stood side by side. Their powers joined. Jace's rifle turned into a glowing energy blade. Valeri's psychic powers tripled in strength. They moved like one. Every strike from Jace was guided by her mind. Every blast from Valeri was shielded by Jace's courage. They fought as one being, bonded, strong, unstoppable. The Krellins began to fall back, but then a large, dark figure stepped forward. The Krellin warlord, a giant Krellin in black-red armor, appeared. His voice was deep and cruel. So, the ancient bond is real after all. Good. I will crush it with my hands. Jace stepped forward, gripping his energy blade. Try it, the warlord charged. The ground shook. They clashed in the middle of the temple. Jace blocked blow after blow. The warlord was strong, too strong for one human. Valeri added her power, sending waves of psychic force to slow the beast. Still, the warlord laughed. You are nothing but a human toy. Then he grabbed Jace and threw him across the temple. Jace hit the wall hard and collapsed. Valeri screamed. She stood between Jace and the warlord, eyes glowing white. You will not touch him. Her power exploded in a wave of light. The warlord stumbled, then roared and charged again. But Jace, bleeding, stood up once more. He grabbed his blade, and as the warlord raised his arm, Jace threw the blade with all his strength, thud straight, into the warlord's heart. The beast fell with a crash. After the battle, the Krellins ran. Their leader was dead. The bond between human and princess had become legend, and they feared it. Valeri knelt beside Jace. "You saved me. Again." Jace smiled weakly. "Guess that makes us even." She helped him up, and they stood in the center. Of the glowing temple, the crystal floated down, surrounding them with light. A voice echoed through the temple. "The bond is complete. The warrior of earth and the daughter of stars are now one. Let all who stand against them beware." At their marks glowed, and far above the planet, both human and Zyrelli fleets received the signal the bond was real. The warrior and the princess were one. Back on the ship later, in the medical bay of the royal cruiser, Jace rested while Valeri sat beside him. "You almost died," she whispered. "But I didn't," he said, "because you were with me." She took his hand. "We are bonded now, in spirit, in power, and in heart." Jace looked into her eyes. "Then let's finish what we started. Show the galaxy what unity looks like." The stars above Zareth Prime were calm, but inside the royal cruiser, tensions were rising. The battle at the Temple of Unity had changed everything. Commander Jace Thorn, now fully bonded with Princess Valeri, rested in the medical bay healing. From the fight with the Krellin warlord, Valeri sat beside him holding his hand. Her bond mark still glowed faintly on her forehead. She didn't want to let go. "You shouldn't have stood up after that hit," she whispered. Jay smiled. "I wasn't going to let that monster hurt you." The door slid open. Captain Lyra stepped in. "The fleets are arriving, Commander. Human and Zyrelli ships? We've got company." Valeri stood. "Then it's time we faced them." Return to Zelyanine. The royal cruiser returned to the moon base on Zelyanine. Peace talks had stopped after the Krellin attack. But now something bigger was happening. Everyone had heard the news. The human warrior and the Zyrelli princess were Soldash bonded. The Empress of Zyrelli arrived with her royal guards. The human council's ships entered orbit too, in the Great Hall. Leaders gathered under the stars once again. Valeri stepped forward, her head held high. "Honored guests," she said. "There is no more room for lies. The prophecy was true. The bond is real. The warrior chosen by the stars has returned. He is Jace Thorn of Earth." Jace stepped beside her. Gasps filled the room. The Zyrelli nobles murmured.
"Oh."
Some bowed their heads. Others looked angry. A dangerous accusation. One of the Zyrelli High Lords, Lord Senar, stood up. "This is unacceptable," he shouted. "A human, as our future prince. This breaks all ancient law." Valeri's eyes narrowed. "It breaks nothing. The bond was made by the stars. Even the temple accepted him." Lord Senar stepped forward, furious. "That temple is dead stone. We will not be ruled by an outsider." Jace raised a hand. "I didn't come here to rule your people. I came here to stop a war, to protect peace." Senar sneered. "You're just a soldier. What do you know of peace?" "I know what it costs," Jace replied, "and I've seen too many good people die because proud men like you think blood is better than unity." The crowd went silent. Valeri spoke again. "If there is doubt, then let tradition decide. I will stand for my bondmate in the trial of honor." The room gasped again. Lord Senor smiled coldly. "So be it. Let the human fight." The trial of honor was an ancient Zyrelli tradition. If a royal bond was challenged, the challenger could demand a public duel, not to the death but to test strength, heart, and loyalty. If the challenger won, the bond could be broken. If the defender won, the bond became sacred under all law. Jace stood in the center of the stone arena. The Zyrelli nobles watched from high seats. Valeri sat in silence, her hands tightly folded. Lord Senar entered the ring in shining silver armor, holding a curved energy blade. Jace had no armor, just light combat gear and a training blade. The council refused to allow human tech during the trial. The judge raised his hand. "Begin." The Dulcimer attacked fast. His blade moved like lightning. Jace blocked with difficulty, his arms shaking from each heavy hit. The crowd murmured. They thought the human would fall quickly, but Jace had been through real war. He knew. Pain. He knew how to survive. He dodged, rolled, countered. Senner's strikes grew angrier. "You don't belong here." Senner shouted. Jace answered with a swift kick, knocking Senner back. "Then why are you the one who's afraid?" Valeri watched, heart pounding. She wanted to help him. Her powers trembled under her skin. But tradition said no interference. Senner charged again, blade swinging. Jace ducked and used Senner's weight to throw him onto the ground. The Zyrelli noble crashed hard. Jace pointed his blade at him. The judge raised his hand. "Enough." Silence, then applause. The trial was over. Jace had won. Victory and anger. Valeri rushed into the ring and hugged Jace. "You did it," he smiled. "Guess I passed the test." But not everyone was happy. Lord Senner stood slowly, hatred in his eyes. "You think this ends it?" "The bond may be legal, but the hearts of our people will never accept a human prince." Valeri stepped in front of Jace. "Then they'll have to learn, because I will not break this bond." The Empress stood from her seat. "Let it be recorded. The bond between Princess Valeri and Commander Jace Thorn is now sacred under Zyrili law." Cheers echoed through the hall, but deep in the shadows, Lord Senner slipped away. He had other plans. The Krellin threat grows far away. In deep space, the Krellin syndicate was gathering. Their warlord was dead, but his brother General Draxon had taken command, and he wanted revenge. "Our enemy is not just Zyreli," he told his army. "It is the bond between Zyreli and Earth. We must destroy it before it spreads." He planned a full attack on both Earth and Zyreli worlds. A war to burn their unity to ashes. Back at the royal station, Jace and Valeri now lived on the royal station orbiting the Zyreli capital. It was peaceful, but not without tension. Many nobles still whispered. Some soldiers refused to salute Jace, but others began to change. Slowly, he trained with Zyreli guards, taught them human tactics, and showed respect to their ways. He ate their food, learned their language, never once claimed power. Valeri watched it all with pride. One evening, they sat on the balcony watching twin moons rise. "You still think this will work?" Jace asked. Valeri leaned against him. "I believe in us." He smiled. "Then let's prove it." A message from the stars suddenly. Alarms echoed through the station. Emergency signal from Earth and Zyreli border planets. Valeri and Jace rushed to the control room. The screen showed burning cities, Krellin ships swarming in deep space, the peace they had fought for was under attack. Jace clenched his fists. "They waited until we were distracted." Valeri turned to him. "We need to fight together," the Empress called through a secure line. "You are now more than bonded souls. You are symbols. If you stand together now, the people will follow." Jace and Valeri looked at each other, then nodded, preparing for war with the human fleet. Led by Admiral Wren, joined with the Zyreli star cruisers. For the first time, both races would go to battle side by side. Jace was given command of a mixed strike unit humans, and Zyreli soldiers trained together under him. Valeri led the psychic command team, protecting ships with mental shields and guiding battle strategies. As the twin fleets prepared to jump into battle, Jace stood before the soldiers. "We are not just two species," he said. "We are one force. This bond is more than love, it is hope. Let's show the Krillins that unity is our greatest weapon." The soldiers roared in approval. Valeri smiled. "You really were born for this." Jace looked at her. "No, I was reborn for this. With you?" In the cold silence of space, two mighty fleets hovered at the edge of the Draxon Lina, dangerous region filled with debris, pirate bases, and now, Krellin warships. From the command deck of the lead cruiser, Commander Jace Thorn stood tall in his new armor. It was made with both human and Zyreli technology-strong light, and marked with the glowing symbol of his soul bond. Beside him stood Princess Valeri, her silver robes glowing with psychic energy. Her eyes were sharp, focused. She was not only a princess, no, she was a warrior, a commander of minds and hearts. Across the dark expanse, General Draxon, leader of the Krellans, waited with hundreds of ships behind him. His face was twisted with hate, wanted to break the bond between Earth and Zyrelli, and crush their hope. But Jace and Valeri were ready. The final strategy inside the war room. Leaders from both fleets gathered: human generals, Zyrelli high lords, psychic advisors, and battle commanders. A hologram showed enemy movements. Admiral Wren pointed. The Krellans have more ships, more guns. Hi, Lady serenaded, but they don't have what we have: a united front. Shh. Step forward. We strike fast. They're not expecting human and Zyrelli units to fight as one. We hit their front lines, break their shields, and let the psychics sweep in behind. Valeri nodded. We'll guide the minds of the lead ships, create confusion, but the center, the heart of the fight, will be ours. She looked at Jackie. Nodded together. The battle begins. The stars lit up as the fleets charged. Human fighter jets zipped between massive Zyrelli star cruisers. Blue energy beams fired across space. Krellan ships answered with red blasts and chaos. Jace led the first attack, Team 5 ships with mixed crews. He shouted into the focus fire on the command cruiser. Don't let them regroup. Explosions shook space. Krellan fighters swarmed. Valeri closed her eyes, linking her mind with her psychic team. Shield the human bombers. Blind the Krellan pilots. Protect the bond. Her voice echoed through dozens of minds at once. The turning point, A. Krellan dreadnought aimed its main cannon at the flagship. Shield down, shouted Lyra. We're exposed. Valeri reached out with all her power. A glowing barrier formed. Between the blast and the ship, just in time, Jace flew underneath and dropped to gravity. Bomb on the dreadnought's weak spot. Boom. The ship exploded. But then another signal came. They're boarding our main deck. Face to face with evil, Jace ran down the corridor with his plasma blade ready. Krellan warriors broke through the steel doors. Blasters fired. Sparks flew. Then came General Draxon, taller than any Krellan before him, with armor thick like a tank and eyes burning with rage. So, you're the human worm bonded to the princess? Draxon growled. Jace stood his ground. And you're the monster trying to burn the future. They clashed. Blades hit. Sparks flew. Yes. Jace ducked, rolled, struck back. But Draxon was too strong. He slammed Jace into the wall. Crushed his shoulder with a heavy punch. Valeri appeared, her hands glowing. You will not take him. She blasted Draxon with a wave of force. He stumbled, but laughed. Both of you. Pathetic. The power of the Banjay stood, injured, but focused. Valeri joined him. Their bond marks glowed together. They placed their hands on each other's shoulders. A golden light surrounded them. The temple's energy still alive within them. They became one. Jace moved faster, stronger. Valeri's mind guided his blade. She protected his thoughts. He protected her body. They fought like light and shadow. Jace struck the final blow straight into Draxon's heart. The general collapsed with a roar. All across the Krellan fleet, chaos began. Their leader was dead. Their courage was gone. The battle ends one by one. The Krellan ships fell back. Human and Zyrelli forces pushed forward, reclaiming lost worlds. Capturing enemy leaders, the war was over. But something greater had begun. After the war on the green hills of New Zarella, under a blue sky with twin suns, a grand ceremony was held. Flags of Earth and Zarelli flew together. Valeri wore a silver gown, and Jace wore royal warrior armor with Earth's eagle and Zyrelli's star combined, before a crowd of thousands. The Empress stood. Today, we do not just honor victory, we honor love, loyalty, unity. She turned to them. Princess Valeri, Commander Jace Thorn, you stood together when others fled. You fought with one soul. You've proven that destiny does not come from blood, but from choice. The two stepped forward. They placed their hands together, and the bond mark blazed across the sky. Seen by all, a new era moans past. Human and Zyrelli. Academies opened on both planets. Children learned about both worlds. Peace became stronger. Jace worked with young soldiers, teaching them honor and courage. Valeri became a leader of her people, wise and powerful, but kind. One day, on the balcony of the palace, they stood side by side. Valeri looked at the stars. "Do you remember when we were kids? And I promised we'd see the stars together?" Jace smiled. "You kept that promise." She held his hand. "And now we'll see them forever." They kissed under the twin moons. And somewhere, far in the galaxy, the Temple of Unity pulsed once more. The bond had changed everything.